Today, we're going to talk about persuasion, but maybe not in the way you're used to thinking about it. Forget this idea that it's some kind of magical art. What if we treated it like architecture, something with a solid blueprint that, yeah, anyone can learn to build? Let's dive in. Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you have this absolutely brilliant idea, or maybe some really important feedback to share, and you say it, you lay it all out, and it just lands with a thud? You know that feeling, right? You can practically see it not connecting. It's so frustrating, and it happens all the time. Your great idea just got completely lost in translation. Well, what if it didn't have to be that way? What if getting people on board wasn't about luck or just being born with some kind of natural charisma? Imagine if you had a blueprint, a real structured plan to make sure your message doesn't just get heard, but actually lands, gets understood, and maybe even gets acted on. That would be a game changer, right? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break down that architecture. This whole framework treats persuasion not as some magical gift, but as a skill, something you can build with a clear design. All right, so with any building, where do you start? You got to start with a solid foundation, right? And in our architecture of persuasion, that foundation isn't what you might think. It's not about having the slickest presentation or using the cleverest words. Nope. It starts way deeper, somewhere much more fundamental. And the material we're looking at is super specific about this. The whole thing, the entire structure, is built on a foundation of what it calls effective social and communication skills. Now, this is so crucial. We're not talking about having a script. We're talking about your core ability to just genuinely interact with people, to listen, to connect. Okay, so once that foundation is poured and set, what's next? Well, now we can start putting up the framework. And this is the part that gives the whole structure its shape, its unique strength, its real advantage. And what's this framework made of? Well, the secret ingredient here is something called behavioral intelligence. So what is that? It's basically the skill of using your communication tools not just to talk at people, but to actively understand and, influence their behavior. Think of it like this. It's an intelligence layer that you build right on top of your basic communication skills. It's what lets you see the why behind how people are reacting. And when you start thinking like that, it's a huge shift in focus. Traditional persuasion is all about you. It's about crafting your perfect speech, getting your words just right. It's focused on the sender. But this behavioral approach, it flips that completely on its head. The focus isn't on what you're saying, it's on how the other person is responding. It's way more dynamic. You have to adapt. You have to be, completely obsessed with your audience. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But a blueprint sitting on a table has never turned into a skyscraper. So how do we actually build this thing? How do we go from a cool concept to a real working structure? Well, the source is really clear on this too. This isn't just something you read in a book and then you know it. It's a skill, a capability that you have to build. And there's a pretty clear 3-part process for doing it. And it really is a step-by-step process. You can't just jump to the end. Think about it. You can't apply that behavioral intelligence if you haven't actually practiced the fundamentals, right? So you have to start by mastering the basics. Then you've got to get out there and actively use them, in real-life situations. And only then, once you're doing that, can you really elevate your game by adding that conscious layer of understanding what's going on with the people you're talking to. All right, let's pull all these pieces together. We've talked about the foundation, we've talked about the framework that goes on top, and we've talked about the process of actually building it. So what does the final blueprint for this whole architecture of persuasion look like? It really comes down to this. The entire structure rests on 3 main pillars, and they're all connected. So pillar 1, that's your foundation, strong social and communication skills. Pillar 2 is the framework, that's sharp behavioral intelligence that lets you read the room and adapt on the fly. And pillar 3, that's the mortar holding them all together, consistent, hands-on practice. You gotta have all 3. Take one away, and the whole thing comes tumbling down. So that leaves us with one final thought. As you're looking at this blueprint, I want you to ask yourself a question. Where do you need to start building? Do you need to shore up your foundation, those core skills? Or maybe it's time to build out that behavioral intelligence framework? Or is it really about just committing to the practice day in and day out? What's the very first brick you're going to lay so that your best ideas never, ever get lost in translation again?